Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation. We found that a good conversation allows us to share what's on our mind, whether current events, what's grinding our gears, or our pet peeves.
It also allows us to share our top 3, a list of our favorite things on any given subject, most of which are highly opinionated. In closing, we share a good word. Solid friendships are encouraging. Even if we joke and give each other a hard time, our ultimate responsibility is to uplift each other.
Our goal is that you'll feel like you're part of the conversation, like you were in the studio with us, and that you feel encouraged after tuning in to our podcast. It's time to join the conversation. All right, welcome to the podcast. We're glad to have you here today. I'm Matt Amos, along with Chet, Sears, Troy, Trussell, and today we have Ben Jennings in studio.
Yeah, a special guest.
Special guest.
In studio,
which is rare. Yeah. And we're going to go with...
we're just in the middle of a heated conversation. We said hit record and let's go.
Stop it. Let me get through this and then you can continue what you're going to do.
Let him host.
I want to get my part over with so we can move forward.
Because you know what's about to come is you're going to be proven wrong.
I'm not going to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
And then our top 3 today is top 3 dream vacations. And Troy's going to end us with a good word. But back to...
exactly where we were before we hit the record button.
Okay.
Matt was telling me and Troy and Ben that Troy and Chet are snooty? Snobs. When it comes to what?
Cajun food.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are.
We just know what tastes good and what is actually Cajun food.
You don't know because you haven't been there.
Middle Eastern or
haven't
Asian.
Been where?
It's called Blue Hook. It's like this. I was looking for because there's 2 new places in town that have just recently.
Where are
the
people that cook and own that restaurant? Where are they from?
I don't think about things like that.
I do.
I always do.
No, because
you should.
Because see, have you ever eaten at Abuelo's?
Yes.
Do you like their food?
It's pretty good.
Not really.
Well,
that's Mexican food, right?
No,
it's
Tex-Mex.
It's horrible Tex-Mex. It's not even as good Tex-Mex that comes from
the salsa
Texas.
at Chili's is edible, but it's not like, oh man, this is great Mexican salsa.
No, it's
like Abuelo's is in line with the expectation of what Abuelo's is. If you went in there expecting Abuelo's to be authentic Mexican food, you would leave.
Oh no, I'm not talking about authentic Mexican food. But what I'm saying is, it's good food, right? You just said it was good food.
Yeah, so some of their dishes I really enjoy, but I do not like their chips and salsa.
But it's billed as a Mexican food restaurant.
No,
it says Mexican food restaurant. I'm saying it's billed as a Mexican food restaurant. That's what they claim to be.
Well, we all know.
And you said it's good food.
We all know that it's not authentic Mexican food.
But it's also owned by Asians. So it's good food. It doesn't matter who owns it. It's still good food.
You don't claim to be a certain type of food and then stink at it. You just don't.
They don't stink at it.
They stink at it.
And then this place that you were raking me over the coals for yesterday, it's like, oh, well, I would never go there. I've heard that it's horrible.
Every review that I've ever seen on Wichita Food and Booze, which has over 100,000 people in that page, every review for this place has been negative and terrible.
Well, here's what I will say. It wasn't bad. And for
the price.
Yeah, I mean, I got out of there with a family of 4 having a crawfish with 2 potatoes and a couple of
How much crawfish?
I got a pound.
A pound?
Yeah.
Did you pay $24.95 for it? Probably
a pound of crawfish.
$13.
I mean,
half that.
You don't even have to wash your hands after eating a pound of crawfish. You hadn't even touched enough.
Oh, trust me. I mean, I get it, right? But
they served it to you in a brown bag too, didn't they?
No, not a brown bag, clear bag.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
No, they scoop it in there, right? And like act like it's steamed, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same way they do it at that other place over by the mall.
What other place?
Get ready
by the
for
mall?
that.
What happened to beer flats?
I don't know.
Somebody needs to introduce people in Kansas. If you're going to cook crawfish, put it in a beer flat.
That's what you do.
That's
you know,
what you
like
do.
where you get the flat of drink, the cans. That's the serving tray for crawfish.
And that's what Garjo's does it right. If you want good boiled crawfish
for
in
sure.
Kansas,
No,
Garjo's,
they do phenomenal.
hands down.
But they down south now they've got the big round plastic trays.
Oh, they
Hey,
had
Matt,
those before.
I'm
we
definitely
left.
picking up on this snobbery around Cajun food.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like we're not even going to give anything a chance.
I will
I've
give it a
given stuff-
chance.
You didn't give it a chance. You haven't been.
I didn't have to because I saw all
Exactly.
the terrible reviews, but I would.
But that's where I was going when I was texting you yesterday was, oh, well, I heard Trussell Media really sucks. I wouldn't use them for the life of me. But have you ever used them? Well, no, I've just heard.
No, here's the deal. If you're from, I'm going to offend some people with this. If you're from Kansas and I don't know you that well, and you say, oh my gosh, you have to go eat here, that means nothing to me.
Yes, same. The people that
means nothing
native
to me.
Kansans think mayonnaise is spicy.
Yes.
So you can't take
pepper.
their word
Yeah.
for
But have I
what
ever-
good food is.
I know you, Matt. I know you. I trust your word. I disagree with you on some cases, but I know that you know good food. But when I first moved here,
I get that, but what I'm saying is I never once said, oh, you've got to go try this. I just said, I'm going to go try it.
yeah, I know. Troy jumped all over you for that.
And so I always give everybody a chance. I let you burn me once. And I'll tell you what, for the price I got out of there for, I got 2 appetizers, the meals, and then beignets at the end, which
Probably weren't beignets.
they weren't beignets.
I have some Cafe Du Monde batter in my house. I'll make you some beignets.
See, gluten, man. But for the price, I got out of there. I was like, you know what? That wasn't too bad of a meal.
Yeah, but Kansas needs to pull itself together. Ben's from Texas originally.
Yes.
And-
And if y'all want to, make me act like a snob, you can just start talking about barbecue. But
I'm
probably a
just
different
telling you,
episode.
like when I moved up here, I'm like, hey, I noticed, getting on the internet, there's a couple of Cajun restaurants around here. Are they any good? Oh, you have to go to Red Beans over on West 21st.
Oh, that's
Like, is that really? So I pop into Red Beans on West 21st.
And what did you get?
A po' boy.
A shrimp po' boy.
And you know what? It came out on literally the bread of a Blimpie roll from a gas station.
Yes.
And
I got
they
the
did
same
not.
thing.
They did not know what they were doing. I'm like, this is not Cajun food. You guys don't know what you're doing. Come to find out, that guy was from Iowa. Like the guy, and he took a 2-week class down in New Orleans on how to cook Cajun food and brought it back up here. I asked when I moved up, hey, where can I get a good steak?
Roadhouse.
Have you ever been
Longhorn?
to Chili's?
Oh, Chili's.
No, no.
I kid you not.
I would not even think of
Where can I get a
I would
good-
think of Outback before I said
I
Chili's.
literally worked with a guy about 3 years ago, and he was like, "Man, it's Kansas. You can get a great steak at Applebee's."
No, you can't.
I was like, "You need to move away."
A
from
majority of
here.
the people that you meet in Kansas are like that. They're 100% like that. Like, this is good food. You talking about mayonnaise being spicy? My wife brought a meal to some women's thing at church after we'd been here a couple of years, and somebody commented on how spicy her food was. What did she use to season with? And she literally said,
Pepper.
salt.
Salt.
That was it. I did not use, because we're at Tony's on everything, right? But
Yeah.
she knows, we're in Kansas. We're going to dial that back a little bit. And they were like, oh, this is really spicy. Like, it's one of the, it's a placebo, right? Oh, she's from Louisiana. Whatever she cooks is going to be spicy,
Oh yeah. for
But
sure.
I don't trust, where do I get a good burger? Oh, let me tell you about Applebee's or, no wonder so many chain restaurants start here because people don't know any better.
Well, and if you have a halfway decent palate, you do have to take Matt's attitude of "fool me once," because, like you said, Troy's like, "Oh, there's 100,000 people reviewing." You can't trust those reviews. These people don't have any credibility with me.
Well, that's true.
Fool me once. I think it's a good rule.
And it was, like I said, it's not the best by far that I've ever had, right? But it wasn't terrible.
And this may be a snob thing, but I would rather not eat bad Cajun food. I don't want anything Cajun if what you're going to feed me is bad Cajun food or something that you labeled Cajun that's not.
I mean, I'll go try a Cajun franchise once, but I'm not.
I will
going back
try it
again.
like for a company lunch. I'll be like, let's go here.
Not on my dime.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like, hey, if I'm going to get crawfish and I'm going to do it the right way and be like, bring me 4 pounds. Because 4 pounds is what? 6 ounces of meat?
Yeah.
It's like, I just ate $80 worth of food and it wasn't good.
And I'm still hungry.
At least it's on the company.
Yeah, back home, if you're planning for a crawfish boil and that's what you're eating, you do 7 pounds for a male,
7 to 10,
and five for a female. I mean that's just the. And I'm a 10 pound. They used to have an all you can eat deal up here, and I go and they're like, oh, grab the styrofoam to go thing. I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, that's what we're gonna put your crawfish in. Like,
where's the beer flat?
I know we're coming back, but like that's not much. And they're like, oh no. So I put it up there, open it up, hold 2 hands, and then they put, like 6 crawfish in the main compartment and leave the other 2. And I said, no, really, load that up in a pile and then do the same thing on the other side, and I'll be back in like 3 minutes. They're like, what?
They're like, what?
Yeah.
No, we're trying to buffet shame you.
Right.
That's how we get you, is the repeat trips when everybody looks.
I'm going to repeat trip this thing on all you can eat crawfish in Louisiana. And that's when Tim from the Cajun Shack was cooking it. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. But if you're in Kansas and you want good Cajun food, go to the Cajun
Go for a
Shack.
really long drive to Louisiana.
Right.
Well,
the Cajun Shack,
Cajun
though,
Shack
they got
is
some good
21st and Woodlawn.
etouffee. They got good gumbo. They got everything good and fried.
Oh, their catfish is really good.
Yeah.
Fried shrimp is really good done right.
Yeah.
They put etouffee. They have a Cajun meatloaf, which is kind of new.
That's one of my. That's one of my
pretty good.
favorites. That's really good.
And they put etouffee on top of that.
A crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, I think it's fairly apparent that none of us have eaten dinner,
crawfish.
and it is dinner time.
Not all etouffee has crawfish in it.
You would say shrimp. Etouffee in my book,
Right.
it's got crawfish in it.
It is protein
And if it's not-
etouffee is how it's described.
And if it's not crawfish, then you name what it is.
Yeah. Shrimp or
Yeah.
whatever else.
It's good.
Yeah. I miss Tim. The guy that
Yeah.
ran the Cajun Shack passed away years ago.
I do miss somebody telling me I can't sit there.
Yeah.
How many you got with you? Just me. What? You get over here. You can.
Yeah.
You sit at the foretop.
But I knew, so I was
Loser
on my, I was
with
on
no
my,
friends?
My Cajun food journey through Wichita right after I moved here, and I walked in there, and there was a LSU national championship banner on the wall, and I was like, "This may be good." I'm starting to get a little hope because at this point I was just there's no hope in Wichita. There were some
After red
crawfish.
beans,
There were some crawfish traps hanging from the ceiling, and I was like, "Oh, he's at least been to Louisiana." And then he walked up. Could I help you? I'm like, yeah, I just moved up here from Louisiana, and I'm looking for some authentic Cajun food. And he's like, what? Where'd you move here from? And I was like, I moved here from Shreveport. Oh, you a damn Yankee. That's exactly what he said. And I said,
He's like, north of I-10, you're a Yankee.
and I said, I'm about to eat some good food, aren't I? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm from Bro Ridge, And I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
And so then we hit it off. And it got to the point my daughter asked me, just last week, it totally unrelated to food, but, do you ever just go somewhere where people know who you are and, kind of make things happen for you? And I was like, yeah, Tim at the Cajun Shack, I'd walk in, we could walk in and sit down at a table and he'd say, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And then go walk away and then come back and I'd have a shrimp po' boy and, all that kind of stuff. And then normally he'd sit at the table and start talking. But, yeah, Tim knew what I wanted.
I had my own parking spot there for a while.
Yeah.
To get my own spot because I was eating there almost 3-4 times a week.
And then it was like 3 years until I got his catfish, and then I got mad at him. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me to stop eating this stuff and get the catfish? Man, all you got to do is get online. It's the second most thing talked about. The first one is our bad service. But other than that, this is the catfish. And then I get on there. This is hilarious. I get on there. I was like, oh, I got to go look this up. #1 review on Yelp. And I'm thinking it's a very old grandma, but I took my grandson in to eat at such and such, and he was wearing an Alabama sweatshirt, and the owner of the restaurant told him that was the wrong sweatshirt to be wearing in his restaurant. And I thought he was joking, but we didn't get our food on time, and we didn't. She just like go, and I'm like, no, he wasn't joking. You should have taken that sweatshirt off, and you intentionally got bad service because of that. 1 star. Yeah. I love that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's that. So our listeners got in on a little bit of our arguing beforehand, but
a little bit. I mean, we've literally now spent 15 minutes.
3 non-native Wichitans are validating Wichita doesn't know anything about food
As a whole.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yes.
There's some individuals here that know what's going on,
Yes.
but not a lot.
It's like a fraternity with a bad reputation. You might find one person that's like, oh, that's not a bad guy. He's got good opinions on food. But as a whole, you're stereotyping him.
Yeah, and the barbecue's a thing. Like, it's this KC barbecue with all the sauce on everything.
No.
Oh, you don't need sauce. Don't sauce my meat.
Don't sauce my meat.
We've been over that for sure.
Anyway, so Ben, you're in the full swings of baseball right now, right?
I am, unfortunately. That's how I spent my Father's Day. We won, fortunately, but it was hot. I am sunburned.
Now, and for our listeners, you're not actually playing. This is
No, I jokingly say I manage a AA team out of Wichita because that is the level at which my younger son plays, and I am kind of the head coach of his team. And then I have a 15-year-old as of last Tuesday that also plays at a really high level. Unfortunately.
Now, are they just baseball guys or are they multi-sport?
Both are multi-sport. Both play football. My oldest one also wrestled and played basketball the past 2 years. But they are very solid baseball players.
Yeah, is that what they're going to stick with?
They'll probably both stick with baseball and football.
Yeah. There's not much overlap there.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of height in my family for basketball, and
You don't need height for basketball. Come on.
Or talent. I mean, it's like, ugh, I kind of got dinged on 2 counts there.
Spud Webb, he was a shorty.
he was 5'11", wasn't he?
No, he's like 5'6".
Yeah, 5'6", 5'5".
Yeah, he's almost Ashley's height.
He can dunk that ball though.
Yeah.
Well, none of us Jennings can.
No.
None of us Trussells can either.
Yeah, Sears can't either.
No,
Really?
Gravity just loves us too much. It just won't let us go.
I at one point, and I didn't start playing basketball
Chet, you're like 6'5".
Yeah, I didn't start playing basketball until my junior year of high school. And then,
Well, I mean, what were you, 300 pounds by then or what?
no, I graduated $175.
And you couldn't dunk.
No.
Oh my god.
No, then he found out the joys of Cajun food.
I was not going to be, I married a woman that could cook. I wasn't going to be the dude with the volleyball. Like everybody was like, oh, give me the volleyball so I can dunk, And I'm like,
that
I'm
was
not doing
me.
that. Yeah.
I could in high school dunk a volleyball.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, if I can't dunk a basketball, I'm not dunking. So, nope. Didn't do it.
Just for the record, I could dunk a volleyball.
Yeah.
I mean,
How many points do you get for that in a game?
I mean, none.
That's
but
right.
It's pretty impressive. They were like, look at that wrestler. He can dunk a volleyball. Ooh.
All the cheerleaders were like, wow.
I mean, I could dunk.
Okay. Good for you.
I'm just saying.
Did you play ball?
I did.
Did you dunk at a game?
No.
Well, that's
No.
all those.
Then you can't dunk.
No, I mean,
Sure you
quotes.
can. Just never. I mean, when you're playing team ball, when you're actually passing, and you're not trying to be the NBA, and you're playing team ball, it's hard to get one of those off.
that was my entire focus.
yeah, play
It
with
was
those
about my
Kansas,
team.
play with those
Player.
Kansas fundamentals like
My
Dr.
team.
James Naismith
Yeah.
intended.
Dude, when my basketball coach walked in,
I mean, listen here, you guys. Coming from somebody where the state where basketball is created, shut up. You don't know anything about basketball.
He's got a point.
You don't even have an opinion on this. Everything that you say,
Let's
just
go play right now. I'll take you right now.
Well, I don't think
I don't
anybody's
wanna-
going to break
look,
the beach
I-
basket hanging on it.
If you've ever seen the basketball movie,
No, I haven't.
as long as we don't have to run, jump, or do anything like we're pretty good at shooting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll shoot.
I'll get you on a psych out though.
I doubt it. I got a pretty steel concentration. As long as you don't touch me.
Oh, the old psych out.
I don't know what is that. A part
Yeah,
of the
it's
movie?
on
Yeah.
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not recommended.
Not
by the
recommended.
Hardheaded podcast.
Right. Not recommended viewing, but
We don't recommend anything that we do
that we've
for the most
done.
part.
Don't recommend it, but 3 out of 4 have seen it.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, I was like, man, because I really wanted you to go to a men's retreat that's coming up this weekend.
But
And you're like, dude, I can't do anything because it's baseball all the time?
All the time, most weekends.
Like, for how long?
Man, we start playing tournaments the last week of March, and we will play through the end of July.
At what age does it stop? When they start playing high school ball?
Well, so it's like the early spring. My oldest son will play for the school until the end of the season, which happens around May 15th.
Yeah.
Then he will play summer ball with his usual team.
Yeah.
You could go year round if you really wanted to, but we typically end at the start of football season.
Okay. Do you guys still hunt?
Yeah. I mean, we're fortunate enough. We've got some places that we can hunt that are really close to our house.
Yeah.
And so we'll go out there in the evening, but.
So I got to know Ben pretty well in a duck blind. Yeah, we used to hunt quite a bit together.
Yeah.
First time I met Chet, he was making fun of Troy, and I was like, how dare you make fun of my friend Troy? And then I was like, nah, I get it. It's totally fine.
I never made fun of you ever.
I was like, yeah, that's my brother-in-law. Don't worry about it. Never. Yeah.
Were we calling him 3-Shot by then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good. I don't know if we've ever told that story, how you got your name.
I think we
have not.
I mean,
hey, kudos to you for keeping a plug in your gun, though. Or it could be like 5-Shot Troy.
Right. It's too expensive.
Yeah, it's too expensive, and that ticket's pretty hefty fine, too.
So,
unless.
Yeah, well,
yeah, dude right there gets out of most of his tickets.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have any legs.
Yeah.
And the game warden ends up carrying all your stuff back to the truck to write you a warning.
Dude.
Yeah. Which truck is yours? Oh, the one with the Purple Heart license plate. Oh, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Right.
That was good.
I think the question that game warden asked was, did you lose those in the war? Like, because if it was a farming accident, you're toast.
Oh, I was going down.
You're going down. I was like, yeah, this is the war. Okay. But me, Troy, and my dad were hunting back when Cheney Lake was like 8 feet low. Yeah. I remember that.
Where you could walk across the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, so you're like 300-400 yards from the normal bank, and we went out and laid down right next to the water's edge. And Troy's a lefty, so he always has the right side. And then I think my dad was in the middle, and then I was sitting on the left, and there's this solo bird coming in on the right side. And my dad's like, oh, you see it? And we're like, yeah, we see it, Dad. Okay. All right. Troy, you going to get this one? You know, whatever. And then the bird just never stopped, just coming straight. And then Troy got on there and like smacked him with his first shot. Folded over, like feathers, dead bird.
You knew it was hit.
And then that is bow, bow, you know, so it was like bow, bow, bow while it was falling down. And, you know, my dad said something along the lines like, oh, you got him, or, you know, something. But anyway, the next day or two, my dad's talking to me and he said, how's old 3-Shot doing? I'm like, what? And he's like, 3-Shot. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, oh, Troy. That's his nickname, 3-Shot, because every time he shoots all 3 times. Even if he hits the bird on the first shot, he pulls the trigger 3 times, every time. Like, I didn't think about that, but that's exactly what he does.
Remember that time you shot that pheasant?
Yeah.
And it folded up, and I shot it 3 times on its way down? Yeah.
One of the high passes.
That must have been a high flyer.
It was a high flyer.
Yeah, if Troy starts, there will be 3 shots every time.
Don't give that kid an AR.
Right.
Be 30 shot.
30 shot.
Anyway, that's how he got his 3-Shot.
Note to trespassers or would-be home invaders.
That's right.
So I was doing a little research on this this kid sports, because we got different variations. Matt's got kids in
figure skating
and soccer. Matt is a huge soccer guy and claims that he would be playing in the Premier League.
Right?
Well, yeah,
was.
He's a big fan.
Yeah.
But I played high school basketball for 2 years. I did a little league. I played on the Braves T-ball team.
I've heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
And we went 2 years without ever winning a T-ball game. Back when we kept score. and that was still okay. Didn't scar me for life. I played on a soccer team called Wiener, sponsored by Wiener King, the local hot dog restaurant. Had Wiener King across our jerseys.
Nice.
But
Glad they didn't sell sofas. We'd have to put that E next to the podcast this week.
the sports industry for kids today which is a lot different than when all of us were growing up.
Yes. Yeah.
How many billions of dollars do you think it is?
I don't want to talk about how many billions I feel like I've contributed, but it's.
I don't even want to guess because I remember growing up, we went up to Kansas City and they've got a pretty good soccer store up there, and where you can actually go in instead of trying to find cleats online or going to Academy. You know, it's a soccer specific store. Mm-hmm. So we went in, and I remember,
by the way, is a soccer specific town.
Yes,
and they're happen to be hosting
the World Cup in 2026.
Yeah,
them with 30 other cities.
We made the cut.
That's right.
The U.S. got the bid to host, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Again,
I didn't know it was 30 other cities.
Is it?
Yeah. It is.
It's like a participation ribbon.
I didn't know it was 30 other cities either.
It's not even just the United States. It's like
North America.
Anybody want to host a soccer game? And everybody that was like,
so it's like one game?
Maybe. You know,
Is it like a play-in? Is it a play-in game or is it like a real World Cup game?
No, it's a real World Cup game.
Okay.
I'm a little let down now.
Yeah. It's super regional.
It's about half as exclusive as hosting the men's NCAA tournament.
Way more.
Anyway, you're at this soccer
by
store.
the math.
So I'm at the soccer store, and I remember growing up because
does every country get in the World Cup?
Not ever.
You got to qualify. That's
but
how
there's like 60. If there's 30 cities,
I think there's 20 cities, right?
I don't remember how many actually are on the list. All I care about is Kansas City.
I thought we were going back to the soccer store. You interrupted him again.
That's where I'm going.
I had fun.
It's okay. I want to hear about this soccer store also.
Yeah.
What's it called? Is it called like Just for Kicks? Like it's got to be a soccer fund.
No,
right?
it's Soccer Masters.
Oh my gosh! What a missed opportunity.
Trying to think. I'll think of a witty name before this is over. But I mean, my first set of cleats, because growing up, soccer wasn't a big sport out where I grew up.
Yeah.
Right, football was it.
Out in the country.
Football was it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I was naturally good at soccer, and so my first set of cleats were football cleats. And when I went to play, they actually check your cleats at the beginning of a game, and you can't have toe cleats like you do in football, where if you're on the line, you need that traction on the front to propel you forward.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have those in soccer because you can rake somebody's leg with them, and
which you're supposed to do in baseball when you slide in with your spikes, right?
Remind me to show you a video of a kid stepping on my kid's foot in the handshake line yesterday. I'll share it with you later.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
I punched
today.
a dude in the throat in the handshake line one time.
Did you?
I did.
Stay classy.
I thought he was coming at me.
Did he violate an unwritten rule?
He's reaching out. Hey, bud, great game.
You coming at me, bro?
We had to quit the game early because the power went out on the lights. And so we were basically like shaking hands in the dark.
Yeah, yeah.
He like ran into
Were
me.
you over there on the Juella baseball complex?
Maybe.
Yeah, because they were like,
well, I thought I was in danger, so I just reared back and punched, and I hit the dude right in the throat. I mean,
Troy's a big strike first, strike hard guy. He's a big Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, that's right. I grew up on Cobra Kai.
He learned from Johnny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you had the wrong cleats.
Well, yeah, so I had the wrong cleats, but we ended up, because I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of money. So mom's just like, well, why don't we just take a pocket knife and just cut those front ones off? And then, of course, I was good to play. But I was the only kid out there in football cleats, on the soccer field. When I finally got my first set of cleats, I think they were $30, something like that. And my daughter has been using hand-me-down cleats, or we go to Play It Again Sports to try to find, used cleats, whatever. Well, she's getting to the point now where she's really, really good, and she's practicing as an 8th grader with the high school team, and then she's at Fringe University at the college camp this week.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, we need to actually buckle down and get you like a good set of cleats. So when we're up in Kansas City, we'll go. And I'm looking at these cleats, and we're just kind of going back and forth. And I was like, okay, asking what size she is, and she's a youth. She's still in youth sizes, but her foot's finished growing, which is why we decided we're going to go with a more permanent set.
Yeah.
And When I set those up on the counter, $220 for a set of cleats. And I was like, you'd better go pro. But
to pay me back for this $220.
yeah, but I mean, but then I look at it and I was like, okay, well, that's not even a fraction of what I just spent on figure skates.
Yeah.
For my oldest.
Yeah.
So your question was, what do you think?
Yeah.
The industry, $4 billion?
No.
So,
I would say youth sports is over $100 billion industry.
It's $4 billion more than the NFL.
Whoa.
These numbers are 3 years old. It's a $19 billion billion with a B.
Well, yeah, it's crazy because we were looking like Noah. He's into soccer now. He likes soccer, and we were going to get him to try out for FC Wichita, and it's like $1,400. And I was like, if I let him try out, and any of my other boys want to try out,
yeah.
Well, that's $1,400 times 4.
The good thing about that though is you can get scholarships and you can do.
No, but here's the thing.
Here's the thing. My kid's only 10. My oldest boy is 10. Right, just turned 10.
Here's what's
he can
happening.
play at the Y for $50. Like that's fine.
The whole scholarship argument to me is, and I've had to reframe this because we spend an embarrassing amount of money to fund our baseball enjoyment.
Sure.
But we like the people that we do it around. He gets good instruction, but we're just kind of, training this child in the way he should go. And there's a lot of life lessons that are applicable to sports. I think we all said we played sports at some level.
Oh yeah.
And, we have this conversation all the time. I drove to Texas 3 weeks ago to get rained out of a baseball tournament.
Oh my gosh.
And when gas is $4.60,
right.
That hurts.
We're playing. We're playing in the mud.
That stinks.
We're playing with the lights out. You might get punched in the throat, but damn it, we're here. We're playing this game.
12 families driving, and it's a 2-night hotel stay that we can't get out of.
Yeah.
Everybody's out.
You can.
Well,
I'll tell you how to do that later.
It's tough. Fortunately, we were staying at our in-laws. We were the least impacted of the group.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Everybody's out at least $800
right
for these couple of days. A couple of people were like, well, I guess we'll just go to Six Flags over Texas.
They're not rained out.
No. I'm like, all right. Enjoy being made of money.
Yeah.
But I'm complaining to another one of these moms, and she goes, you know what? You either pay to get them out of trouble or you pay to keep them from it. Just you pay to get them out of trouble or you pay to keep them away from it. I'm like, oh. That's a good, that's like
you
the only
tell
redeeming
yourself
thing.
whatever you have to tell yourself, lady, to sleep at night. That's what I'm thinking.
But the whole thing about scholarships is that it's such a tight space. There's no like, oh hey, nobody's ever heard that there's all these offers out here now. It's like no, like thousands of kids are all competing for the same $500 scholarship to a junior college in Kansas to go play baseball or women's soccer. It's tough everywhere. And I hate to think of all the money that I'd spend if I'm like, man, what if we just got him a math tutor for like 8 hours a week?
Or,
it's like,
or
maybe that would
the money that I would have spent in Texas one weekend, if I just put that in a mutual fund.
Yeah.
and I did every weekend. I'm putting that same dollar amount in a mutual fund. It's like, oh, I could retire early and pay for their college, But the interesting thing that I found out was the graph of cost of kids sports is immensely increasing, but the number of kids that are playing is inverse to that. They're getting smaller and smaller because the cost to play is so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at $220 cleats for, the beautiful game. More people play it worldwide because the barrier to entry is
so
less than any other sport in the world. But yeah, if you're like, you got to be going to get training and whatnot.
It's so different here in the U.S. the way we commercialize and try to make a buck off everything, because in other countries, it's literally there are no other sports the way most of the other world countries think. It's all soccer, and so when you start talking high school sports or any of that stuff, there are clubs in other countries, and that's where these kids go to school, is this club. And soccer is the thing that brings them all together,
Yeah.
And so it's just
basketball's getting there.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I know
we
what you're talking
we just
about,
commercialize everything so much.
Yeah, I got a buddy whose oldest son just graduated from a college called Riata in the UK, and it was a soccer academy.
Yeah.
And it was also a college. It's like, come for the soccer, stay for the academics. Like, get a degree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it too, just from a financial figure type of thing, I mean, what athlete in the world do you think has paid the most money? What professional athlete makes the most money?
Well,
You're probably going to say it's a soccer player, but I think it's like a Formula One driver.
Well, LeBron James just broke the $1 billion mark.
No, but he's not getting paid. He's not getting paid.
That's his net worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his net worth
that's
through
like,
sponsorships and everything too, included, right? You're talking about just from playing the sport, no sponsorships and everything.
Ronaldo, Messi.
But is that what he gets paid by his club, or is that what he gets paid by Adidas?
So when you look at just what he gets paid, he's still the highest paid athlete.
Yeah.
But then when you add in the sponsors and stuff like that, I mean, he's well over $1 billion.
Hey, if anybody's fact checking this podcast, send your comments to Matt.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought that was crazy because you look at some of these NBA players and these football players with the contracts that they get, and you look at Mahomes and the contract that he signed, worth almost $500 million. Like, holy cow, that's a huge amount of money. And that, like, this dude makes that in a year, and it's like, holy smokes, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but nobody's going to see that. Nobody else.
No,
there's only going to be one or two athletes that come along in every sport.
Yeah,
there's one or two people.
But I think there's three soccer players on like the top 10 list of highest paid athletes.
And they're not.
But it's
you can argue they're not much better than some of the players that were around 30 years ago.
No, but it's a global game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the NFL, which is the National Football League, or Major League Baseball, which is primarily America.
Well, there's a lot of
the fact that there's so
much
much corruption in FIFA and it's still what it is a testament to it's the world's game.
It's just because heck, I played soccer in Haiti with some Haitians and it's just unbelievable. They're barefoot, by the way.
Yeah.
No cleat. You don't need cleats. You don't need cleats to beat this guy.
$220 cleats.
They're not checking cleats.
No.
Before you.
I almost got knocked out. Like I took a ball to the face, and everybody was like, "Oh, the giant is going down."
I've been meaning to ask you what happened.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot more than the ball to straighten this out.
And it is. We played in. So when I went down to Peru, and I may have even talked about this on the podcast before, but we did a partnership with the Americas, and we went down and trained Peruvian Marines and Colombians and stuff like that, their ocean warfare type stuff and beach landings and all that kind of stuff. And then we had a field day towards the end, and we had a Marine Corps team that I played on, and we challenged it on the field day. We had a soccer court on a basketball court with tiny goals, and that game is so fast. We beat the Peruvians. We beat, I think it was maybe it was Argentinians or something like that. But then the Colombians and we got smoked.
Yeah.
Those little guys, and they're little, fast.
Yeah.
Super fast.
I played basketball on a mission trip in Mexico, and they brought a college out to
Where you
play.
didn't, and they're like, big man, dunk a ball. And you're like, I can't.
I can dunk a volleyball, but I'm not going to.
And I guarantee I'm not going to get dunked on either. I don't care how high you can jump.
Foul.
But that's right.
Call your own fouls.
Even with the jump ball, because there was a little bit of shenanigans with the principal that we had. I went through a K through 12 school, and before I started playing ball, the principal of the K through 12 school counted all students as high school, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this school needs to be in a different class." Because they have this many high school
We're
students.
bumping them up to 5A. Be like, oh my gosh.
We went
half of
to
our
2
population can't read.
We went
They're
to
all
2A.
Third grade and under.
We went to 2A, and the 4 years I was in high school, we were playing in 2A, and the year I graduated, they bumped us back down to B. It was or C. It was a big difference. So we were playing schools that had football teams. We didn't have a football team. We couldn't manage. It was just, they didn't do 7-man football in Louisiana. But I'm playing against much larger schools, which had a bigger population, and guys, I was never, this is back before the internet, and you just have, people writing in paper rosters, get faxed around and whatever. And my coach would get a roster from somebody that played a team we're about to play and saw that they had a guy that was 6'7". So I'm 6'7" that game. When he would send the fax that over, it's just how it went. But I would play against some pretty big guys, and like at the tip off, I'm like, Coach, there's no way. Like, there's no way we're getting this. And he's like, have you ever seen a foul called on the tip off? And I'm like, no. And he's like, wow. Well, why don't you try? So then I just go up there and like swipe his hands away, and then the ball would come down and bounce on one of our heads, and then we'd be playing.
Do you think that had any effect on the lens through which you view sport and its value?
What do you mean?
I mean, did you respect this coach?
Yeah, he was great. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, he let me take out whoever I wanted.
But I like basketball a lot more than baseball because
He stabbed a
the
guy
rules
one
are the
night.
rules. I have.
Yes.
We this is a different podcast, but there's a school that our parents weren't allowed to go to, like to watch on an away game, because the tension and the police protection that was required to escort a mom to a bathroom, and then we always had the parent that was like, you ain't gonna keep me from watching my boy play ball, and so then there was a sheriff's deputy to sit with that family the whole game. But
We had that too, but it wasn't real. It was all perception. It's like, these people are evil. They're Catholics and we're Baptists.
no, there were some issues there.
We had that in my private school league.
Yeah. Stay away from these people. They don't
That
believe in
sounds like
free will.
that sounds like Andale and Kingman.
It's everywhere.
But I don't even know where we're going with this. Oh, we had fun. It was good. It was organized. Basketball's a good sport because you know what the rules are. Baseball, you don't know what the rules are.
I mean, I know what the rules are.
You think you know what the rules are.
Oh, no. I know the rules.
You make the rules.
I had to go explain to an official over the weekend, the field umpire that called the kid safe because he didn't tag up on a fly ball that our outfielder caught and promptly threw to our kid covering second base, and he touched the bag with his foot. He was like, safe.
Oh, you said you had to tag the guy?
I said, we need to have a conversation. Matt was his name, different Matt.
I know that rule.
And he goes, you don't have to tag him? And I said, no, he just has to touch the bag. He's like, well, I didn't know that. I said,
Now you
thank
do.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for admitting that mistake. But yeah.
Was that like one of the high school kids that they're...
He told me before the game that he was 24.
That's okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm good on him for making some extra money, and we'd have a hard time with no officials. But
Which we're getting there, by the way.
yeah.
But the unwritten rules of baseball, like there's I keep up with the new podcasts that are coming out. There's a podcast that's solely on trying to explain to people what you can't do in baseball that's not actually written down. Like taking too long in the batter's box. I know they're trying to get a shot clock, but if some pitchers don't like it, then they can hit that guy.
Well,
There
are consequences to every action, right?
How you let go of your bat after you hit a home run is a big deal.
Well, yeah, I
don't
didn't
flip your bat.
notice the clock. I didn't know the pitcher had a clock until I went to the Wind Surge game recently, and I was like, what the heck is
Shot
that?
clock, man. Because
But it's also a judgment call. It's not, the umpire can choose to enforce that or not.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I'm telling you, baseball's going down. It's just going to happen.
Everything's going down.
Yeah.
Soccer's not.
Well, soccer is on an upswing because
It's awesome.
it just hasn't reached any sort of a saturation point. But it's,
What do you mean? It's global.
I mean,
In the U.S.,
right.
parents are still willing to pay to sit on the
like-
sidelines to watch their kids.
I mean, knowing the little I know about you, it shocks me that you're a soccer fan because you don't look like one. And I mean that in the best possible way.
See, when I played, it was the same thing. Everybody's like, you play soccer?
Oh,
Don't you play football or are you a
I was a
wrestler?
collegiate cheerleader.
He's not kidding. You need to hear him talk about his daughter playing, though. Like, how'd the game go? Dude, she like literally lit this girl up because she tried to come in and take the ball and she threw this forearm and yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, he likes it when she blows people up.
Yeah.
But it's an aggressive sport, and
It's definitely a contact sport.
and you got the thing that I don't like about it now, especially the European level of soccer, is the flop. And you're seeing it more,
Which is into basketball now.
You're seeing it in basketball. it's like, oh, we're going to adopt this and try to draw these fouls instead of just, hey, let's just play the game. And so I don't like that, because I was always taught to play aggressively, and I teach my daughter to play aggressively. And I mean, this last game, I don't know if I talked about that, but it was the last game of the season, and we were playing the best team in the league, and ended up they were 1 goal ahead of us, and they'd blown everybody else out by six or 7 goals. And the first game we met, they beat us by 2 or 3. And then we were the only ones that had scored on them all season in that game. And then this second game, it was 1-0 coming up towards the end. And they had this little girl just, I mean, screaming down the field and going for the ball. And then my daughter, she's short, but she's a brick wall, and she's all beef. And she hit this girl. And I mean, it was just ponytails and
cleats,
just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, it was shoulder to shoulder contact, completely clean. And she gets called for a penalty, or a penalty in the box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as soon as she hit her, I mean, I'm the only, everybody's kind of like their mouths are open. I stood up, I was like, yeah. And I'm clapping, and everybody's kind of looking at me like I'm like I'm the jerk.
You're evil. Yeah.
And I'm like, that was a perfectly clean hit. And then it gets whistled, and then the sideline ref goes over to the field ref, and they're having their little conversation, and then they threw the little hand and penalty kick. They ended up winning 2-0. But I was like, she came back, and I was like, no, absolutely not. I go, that's how they play at the high school level. That's how you play at the college level. That would not have been called. That was completely clean. You keep doing that. That's perfectly fine. I go, they're just not at your level yet.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And it's okay to lose a game.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's fine.
What anybody asking what their record was, like, hey, Messi, how many games did you lose when you played in the 8-year-old league? Nobody cares.
No. Yeah. And it's all about development and skill and training you up to that next level. And I think those losses where you're playing much better teams is that learning experience.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be the top dog, because then you're never challenged. That's what I told her. I was like, you need to get on a competitive team that's going to challenge you. I go, because you're really good, and you could take this as far as you want, but you've got to put in the time, and you've got to get on a team that's going to challenge you. And I mean, she's out there, she works on it.
I think the one thing I like about it, and I don't want to be negative on the whole thing, is like Ben being there. Like, there's one thing for you to send your kid off to go do this, hey, they're going to play travel ball because that's just what the it thing is to do. And you guys need to go do this, and we're going to spend all this money, which, by the way, on average today on the travel teams, the non-rec league, I'll call it that. So not travel, but non-rec league, 10% of your whole house's income per athlete is what the average is becoming.
Wow. I could definitely see that with the figure skating.
Yeah.
That's why we don't play. We play at the YMCA.
And you're like, how can I get to that average?
No, fortunately I'm under that, because I've got 3 kids in different activities, but I don't think we're
quite
at
there.
30% of our income.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, make it, this is a relationship thing. This is not, you're our star and our world revolves around you. It's like, hey, here's an opportunity that I have to be with you, to help teach you, to help put you in these situations. And by the way, I'm going to be with you while we're doing this. Like, this is a dad thing.
It's a family event where we get together as a family and support the person who's playing.
Yeah. And when it's just one of us, my wife and I kind of split these duties, and she's had the opportunity to take my oldest to some out-of-town events because I have an obligation to my younger team that's in town. It's great windshield time. Yeah. Great opportunities for them to have conversations. And as he's getting older, he used to be a mama's boy. He's definitely grown out of that. He and I have a lot of time. We share a lot of the same hobbies and enjoy a lot of the same things. But she's had, 30 hours in the car with him this summer that she wouldn't have had otherwise. If we would have been staying at home, he would have been in his room.
Or hanging out with friends.
With one AirPod in. I don't know why that's a deal.
The conversation was today. What do you listen to? Nothing. Why do you have that in your ear? I don't know. Take it out.
My 12-year-old now, I'm like, I walk in her room, and she just got a phone 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
has she had it disciplinarily taken away yet?
We take it away in the evenings all the time, but no, she hadn't done anything egregious. But just I come in her room, and she just turns it down, And I'm like, what are you watching? And I'd have to take her phone, and
Right.
she didn't put up a fight or anything, but it's like, it's Full House. And I'm like, you got to know, like, when I walk into a room, you can't just really hide your phone. Like,
Oh, Dad starts peeling back the onion.
And it's okay if it's Full House, but Fuller House, no, we're not doing that.
oh man,
Fuller House is good.
I've never seen it.
oh,
It's pretty
I'm
good.
not a fan.
I don't.
Fuller House.
When it comes to sequels, it's more of a Jurassic World and less of a Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Let's not. I don't want to hear. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. Go see.
Oh
it.
no, I would just recommend it.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to see it.
Yeah.
I saw it last night.
I know that's where you went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
good.
first time you've seen it.
Yeah, it takes me a while to get to the theater.
But
I made it.
I'll still see that Jurassic World movie just because that 10-year-old in me, the nostalgia is real.
I can wait on that one for video. Luckily,
Which one?
luckily,
There's the new Jurassic Park.
They
movie
brought
that
in
came
the
that's right.
original 3 people that were in the first Jurassic Park movie.
yeah, and
To be
combined
with
them.
Chris Evans and whatever else.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt and
brother in Christ, Chris Pratt.
Which, yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yep.
And he's in Terminal List coming out on Amazon July 1st. I can't wait for that. Which, it's a book written by Jack Carr, and the dude uses a Winkler axe.
And it's Ron Howard's daughter. What's her name?
That's
Bryce
Jurassic
Dallas
Park or
Howard.
Jurassic
Right,
World. Bryce
Jurassic
Dallas
World.
Howard. Yes.
Bryce
Yeah.
Dallas. That's right. Yeah.
Look
All
at
right.
us.
Hey, should we go to top 3?
We-
I mean,
we probably
been,
should.
We've been talking for like an hour already.
What top 3 are we talking about, Matt?
We want to take a break, or we're just going to push
No, we're going to take a break. But what's our top 3?
our top 3.
When we come back from the break.
When we
it's
come
gonna
back from break, our top 3 is going to be top 3 dream vacations.
be- All right. 1783, the first victory. Victorious in war, this year sees America earn her independence. At Admiral's Pennant, we celebrate victories at the end of war. 1783 is the first of many such celebrations in our nation's history. This is an elegantly refined blend of sandalwood, cedar, and tea tree. The subtle, lingering, woody scent of the sandalwood, light cedar, and the top notes of tea tree is the essence of masculinity, honoring the men who fought and continue to fight to provide us our independence.
Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave. And we're back with top 3 dream
Not just vacations.
Dream.
Vacations.
dream vacations. Troy, lead us off.
All right. Number 3, Hawaii.
Just Hawaii?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Would you say,
cool.
like-
No, just move on. Just move on.
Arizona?
No. Maybe he'll pick up on it later.
Be more specific.
No. Let's just-
Hawaii.
Okay.
yeah, he gets skipped. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's good.
I would recommend to go to the island of Kauai while you're in Hawaii.
I'm never going.
Yeah, you are, man.
So
It's a dream. That's why I'm
it's
listing
a dream.
it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Who's next?
It's awesome, dude.
All right, I'll get more specific with number 2.
I'm going to go more Pacific.
Oh, very good.
Zing.
Yeah. The Bora Bora.
Fiji huts over the water.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a dream vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I like
better?
that.
Is that Bora Bora?
There's in Fiji, they do it in Bora Bora. They're actually doing it in Belize now, and if you want to stay closer. And I think they're trying to get some in the Dominican or something like that, but I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go.
I wouldn't
you gotta
mind.
get to
I wouldn't mind
Tahiti.
going to one of those, and I'm not a beach guy, but I would like to stay on one of
If
those. over
they
the water.
have AC, and I don't know if they do. I don't want to be hot.
I don't know.
If you're
I
out
don't
there,
think you
I
need
mean,
it
if you're out there on
under
the ocean
water.
and you're getting that breeze, which should be.
It's
Should be
pretty
pretty
temperate.
nice.
They call it the temperate.
Have you done
zone. So I've never done that.
Yeah.
My brother and his wife, when they got married, they went to Tahiti.
Yeah.
And they had one of those where it was they literally had like a glass floor in their hut.
Yeah.
And it was like, look, you can like feed the fish and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
That's awesome.
what a waste of a honeymoon. Right.
Get your pole.
Yeah. I'm going to do some fishing while we're there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool because I've seen the one you just walk out and go swimming. They have like lighters in the water. And then
Yeah.
I would like to do that.
that's pretty cool.
All right, number 1, Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
I want to go back there. I didn't have a dream vacation there, but I went there on a cruise, and it's the most beautiful water I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like 30 feet down to the bottom. You can see all the way from just getting off the the cruise ship. You could see all the way down to the bottom. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've got some money there.
You got some money down in the Cayman.
Is that right?
Caymans,
That's a good place.
yeah.
Good place to put it.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
Chet.
I'll go. Italy.
Hey, my parents are going there on Thursday.
Can you be more specific, please?
Yes. Rome, Sardinia, which is an island right off the coast. My parents live there with my sister. I wasn't born yet. Probably was conceived there, just in case you want to know.
Nice.
Didn't want to know that, but thanks anyway.
They
Chet's a very Italian name. My name is a Chet.
Sears. Tuscany, Lake Como. I don't know if you guys know about all these places. Florence, Sicily. I do not want to go to Vienna because
Are you reading an Olive Garden menu right now? I feel like we just got the tour of it.
Yeah, no, he's on the wine
Can
list.
we get some garlic
Which, by the
toast in
way,
here?
was the answer to where is the best Italian restaurant in Wichita? Have you been to Olive Garden?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. So
breadsticks are great.
and then that is also the one that's like my wife's dream location. So it also needed to make the top 3 list so we can have some cohesiveness there. I definitely would like to go Tuscany,
She's
Capri.
not here.
Yeah, and she doesn't listen.
And
either.
she's not listening, yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah, well, great. Good cookie
Number
points.
2.
Idiot.
A lodge set aside from everywhere else in Jackson Hole, Wyoming in the wintertime. Snow covered.
Sounds difficult to get to.
Yes, but dreaming,
Right? Yeah.
You know,
Flying on that helicopter.
One of the cooler, I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh, we're going to such and such. It was, I think it was more Yellowstone than it was Jackson Hole, but they were like, yeah, we're going there for our, for Christmas. And I'm like, I didn't know you were that kind of, and they're like, no. My in-laws, they want to have all the family together. And so we go there for the week between Christmas and New Year's, but it's everybody. So all the kids and grandkids for the matriarch and patriarch of that family rent out this huge lodge where there's room for everybody. And they have all these snow machine rentals and all the stuff and snowshoes and it's just like a winter wonderland family deal. And they're like, this is the only time of the year that we're going to get you guys all to ourselves and we're going to pay out of the nose to make that happen. But I was like, dude, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
To be able to, have everybody around and, Troy and his kids would be there. Isn't that a good dream vacation?
Sure.
Like not this year, when your kids are older. And
If it's like
tie their
snow
shoes.
on the ground and it's 70 degrees outside, that'd be great.
Dude.
I mean, get a parka.
Yeah. We get some down.
Hey, if I somehow get invited on this dream vacation, I'm definitely leaving the leftovers outside every night, hoping to see a bear. It's my go-to. We've been to Red River a couple of times, and every time I'm like, anybody? Oh, look at the steak trimmings. Okay, I'll throw these away. Sort of. Just go put them on a stump and wait.
Number 1, Turks and Caicos, and I've been there. I would argue the waters are even better than Cayman. And
okay.
I think Ashley, because she's been to both, they say the same. But we went at the all-inclusive deal, brought our kids and all that kind of stuff. This would be more if we can get a house that was like private,
A villa.
out there. A villa, is that what they're called there?
Yep.
But I'm talking about
Villa.
yeah.
No?
Yeah,
Villa.
it's,
No, oh, okay.
Because now we're in Turks and Caicos.
like you could see the hairs on your toes standing in neck deep water, looking down. I mean, just as crystal clear.
I doubt it.
I was about to say, like, because I'm lifting my toes up. Like, I don't think I can see my toes looking down.
It's like, yeah, I'm floating them out there.
Now everybody's got a mental picture of me, and it's unfortunately right.
So anyway, Turks and Caicos would be the and on a private house, But by far, and I've been around a few places, but by far the best, absolute best beaches, best water temperature, most clarity, least amount of surf, so it's not getting all agitated up. It's just gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ben, what you got?
Oh, goodness. So I feel like I can beat myself around you guys. Troy, Chet, you already know this. I'm a Disney World guy.
Yes.
But you've already been, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. I've been several times, but I really enjoy it. I would not take my kids, but this is what I would do. I'd
I'm
take
going to go to Disney. kids, you're staying at home.
So my wife really loves the nostalgia of Disney World. We have a great time there. I would take her, and then my kids would just come later, and we would go on a repositioning Disney cruise. So we would leave from, somewhere in Florida and go across the Atlantic. No phone service, wonderful family atmosphere. I recently went on a cruise with my kids, and it was the best thing ever because we ate 3 meals a day together, and all they did was talk and rip on each other. But it was awesome.
But then you had to go into like a 10-box size room with them.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay.
It's less opportunity for my wife to run away from me, and my kids had their own room. So
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Disney World, Disney cruise.
Yeah.
And make it last by going across.
Do they do that? Do they have a transatlantic cruise?
I don't know if Disney does or not, but I'm dreaming here. My parents actually went on a repositioning cruise a few years ago. It was 21 days at sea.
Uh-huh.
It was a heck of a deal. I was like, man,
dude,
if I didn't have all this responsibility, I would definitely be all over that.
Hey, so I when my dad was going into a assisted living facility, I was just doing some research, and they're like, there are people, it's about the same price if you were going to cruise for a year.
Yeah.
For a year in assisted living. And there are people that's what they do for retirement.
Yeah.
Instead, because it's like, we never have to cook. We don't have to clean.
I'd do it.
We get to know.
I've been on one cruise in my life, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we've been on several, and my parents are just all about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. They got a ship doctor.
Yeah. It's like, somebody came down with some new virus, and you have to stay on that for 53 days without leaving your room. But, you win some, you lose some.
That only happens once every 100 years or so. So that's
so
fine.
they say. All right. So number 2, going to man it up just a little. I want to go to New Zealand. I know you said vacation, but I want to go on a guided red stag hunt, and I want to shoot like a 400-inch red stag in New Zealand.
Speaking of COVID, Matt, why didn't you go to New Zealand?
Because of COVID.
That
sucks. But I would love to go, and I would love to do that. And while I'm there, I'd definitely go to Hobbiton because I'm still a nerd.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's Lord of the Rings, which he's never seen.
Yeah.
Never seen Lord of the Rings? You look like Gimli.
I don't even know who that is, but
you're actually the same height.
Yeah, I was about to do it.
Sounds perfect to me.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. I say, we dwarves are really fast over short distances. Natural sprinters.
No idea.
Oh, yeah, so now you have to watch
a bearded dwarf.
In 10 years, when you finally sit down and watch that movie, you're going to be like,
I'm
going to punch him.
Yeah.
If we were in a handshake line, I'd cleat him.
I went back and tried after we talked about this the last time, and I got like 5 minutes into it. I was like, I can't do it.
You into what?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Dude, which one?
The first
Fellowship?
One.
Dude, you have to give it more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, you need to give it a plane ride. You're like, I'm here for 3 hours. There's nothing better to do.
Maybe when I'm going to New Zealand, that's what I'll do.
Yeah,
you should. It's
and they will probably have it on that flight.
Speaking of, they did just open it up. I got the call from the outfitter, and they did say, "Hey, we're down to 1 vaccination now. We think by 23 it's going to be completely gone, so we'd like to get you back on the book for 23."
Yeah, by the way, it was booked, and you were like a week out of.
I was
departure.
2 days.
2 days.
And what was on the docket as far as species you were going for?
Red stag. And then I would assume that there would probably be a tar and chamois thrown in as well. But
it's open season there.
Yeah,
nothing is native, so you can shoot it all.
A bunch of wallabies.
Yeah.
Right. Just
they're all silenced, right?
Don't shoot the ground nesting birds is all. Those are native.
The nesting birds?
Yeah. All the stuff that the invasives are
he does that, and then he's like, "Oh, look at me. I don't have legs. It's okay. It's okay."
I couldn't see. I don't have any legs.
Hey, crikey,
There's
mate.
nothing wrong with your eyes.
There's nothing wrong with your eyes. But I don't have any legs.
Did you lose those in the Great Emu War? Look it up, listeners. It's Australia, not New Zealand. All right, and number 1, deep sea fishing. Cabo San Lucas, Cancun. I had the opportunity when I was a senior in high school. We were planning. I grew up in Houston, so I was planning on going down and fishing off docks in Galveston with a buddy. And another friend of mine called me the Friday that spring break started. He goes, "Hey, can I go fishing this weekend? I was like, or this week? And I was like, dude, I would love to. I'd already planned on going down to Galveston. He's like, hey, all right, we're going to Belize. And we had the best time. This is back when you could get a passport in 3 hours on a Saturday.
Yes.
That's how old I am. But man, I would love to go back and do some deep sea fishing.
I've been 5 times in the Gulf. Nothing like it. So much fun.
Man, we need to do this. I had a good trip with my family. We took the kids and my nephews, and Joel was there, and my niece. It was just a blast out of Alabama, and we
Gulf Shores,
Dolphin Island. But we went out in some deep water.
Like, there's only 9 miles of coastline in Alabama. Gulf Shores wasn't far off.
Yeah,
yeah.
We went out into some blue water, but they have like a 2-night trip where it's just. They had a green egg in the boat, like mounted in the back of the boat.
What could go wrong? 90 miles offshore.
But it's like, oh, you just got a tuna? Fire up the grill. Like, just, yeah, I couldn't. It'd just be so awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, all we did was fish a red snapper. And Staley caught the biggest one, 17 pounds.
Man, those are good fish.
Yeah.
That's good eating.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, your turn.
Your turn.
Number 3. Israel. I would like to go and kind of do that whole tour.
The Holy Land.
The Holy Land, and just see all of that.
Go to Turkey while you're doing it, because there's a lot of stuff in Turkey that's still related.
And you can get me a nice walnut stock for my shotgun in Turkey.
Or are you sure you want me to get that from Turkey, or do you want me to get that from like a
Yieldy shotgun. They're made in Turkey.
I know.
Turkish walnut.
Chet and I each have one.
That's right.
Which one?
Yieldies, the Settlement Academy. YILDIZ.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's my over and under.
Gotcha. That's my number 3, Israel.
Okay.
Number 2, I'd love to go back to Peru and head up, because I did not get to see Machu Picchu while I was there, and I'd love to go see that.
Yeah.
And the food in Peru is incredible. You wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, they season it?
But I heard somebody say that Peruvian food really sucked, but I haven't been there.
What did you do to this chicken to make it taste so good?
Yeah, Peru is chili adjacent, so
it's chili.
It's probably spicy there.
It is pretty spicy food. It's good. And then number 1, which actually I do have kind of on the books, is Bellawood, France. I want to go do the battlefield tour there, and then drink out of the fountain. I don't know, just one of those things I didn't get to do when I was in the Marine Corps, because for whatever reason, some girl got to go instead of me who didn't serve with 5th or 6th Marines. But
Yeah.
what politics?
I did a little Google Earth Street View, whatever it is thing, tour of that place. Seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
For what happened there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my number 1, Bellawood.
Any honorable mentions?
I had Disney with the kids,
Yeah.
but that was on Ben's list. Well, yours was without the kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Both.
But it's kind of a dream for me, because I got 5 kids, and it's going to cost like kidney
$1 million.
to go.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to do.
Have you priced kidneys? It might cost you both.
right.
Hey, but you can get a cart. You can go right after your surgery, because they have all the carts there.
Oh, that's
Beep,
good.
beep, beep. Yeah. I'd like to do like a Boundary Waters canoe, fish, camp trip. Like, that'd be a great vacation, I think.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. I'll go on an elk hunt with my oldest here in a couple of years. Once he quits baseball, I can afford to take him on a nice guided hunt.
There you go.
There you go. Nice. All right,
All right.
we jumping into a good word.
Troy, hit it.
All right, yeah, so we're on day 23 of the Chosen 40 Days with Jesus book 2, and it's titled Amazing Jesus. The verse is Luke 7, 6-9. It says, "The centurion sent friends, saying to him, 'Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore I did not presume to come to you. But say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I too am a man set under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turning to the crowd that followed him, said, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And so they talk about, they've done this before in the previous chapters, where they have a reporter kind of interview one of the characters in the story. And it has a reporter kind of interviewing the centurion on like, yeah, how did you know this Jesus dude is, was going to do this for you? Because, you're a person under authority as well. You got people that, you say, like you said,
100 people.
100 people.
Centurion.
Yeah. And the centurion comes back and says, hey, this guy's telling, sickness to go away and storms to stop and stuff. He's obviously has more authority than I do. So I'm going to trust in him.
Yeah.
So the way they put it out there is a pretty good response from him. But yeah, and it always this story always amazes me just because the centurion was a Gentile, right? And he still trusted in Jesus because of the things that he was doing.
And I think he respected him too. He just didn't just show up. He sent somebody.
Yeah, because the centurion didn't feel like he was worthy enough for Jesus even to come under his roof, right? It's kind of like the woman that, even the dogs get some of the scraps from the master's table, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thread as that. And then they end it with kind of a prayer focus on, how do we respond to Jesus? Do we look at him as the ultimate authority, and do we go to him for help from the ultimate authority? So yeah. What are y'all's thoughts on that, Matt?
I think a lot of times, I'm sorry, I'm not Matt.
Oh, go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because actually last week you bounced off of that with your good word, I believe.
Or next week.
No, last week.
Okay.
The podcast that just aired.
Yeah.
And I believe you touched on this as well.
I think so.
Yeah, because that's what I was like, did I type these down wrong? No, Chet just jumped ahead and used part of his good word to jump into Troy's good word.
Well, it's a good passage. But I think a lot of times, and it's, this is the case too, it's a big deal, but a lot of times we wait. Hey, Jesus doesn't care about the small stuff. On our own, we're saying that. And I'm only going to bring him in on the big stuff and ask for something then. And a lot of times I think if you came in on the small stuff and just were continuously with him, and letting him know what your needs are, then, I don't know, it just seems hypocritical to a certain extent. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to deal with this on my own. I can do this on my own. I'm my God on the small stuff, but I'm going to need a bigger God on the bigger stuff. Why not just give him everything?
Like he's not powerful enough to take care of all of it. And he doesn't care about you enough.
Like he doesn't care about you enough on the small stuff.
Yeah.
Or
it's not important enough that you want to bother him with it.
Yeah. Well, and we'll tie this back in what we were talking about earlier. Like a lot of times from a coaching perspective, the small stuff is very important, and you need to stop and talk about the small stuff. And we need to address this little thing. I'm not just worried about the big thing. Like, this is you want to be about the whole as opposed to just the big.
Well, he is our father, and as fathers, even the small stuff with our kids is, that's the important stuff. We don't want to miss that. And I wouldn't want my kid to say, oh, well, this isn't big enough or important enough to tell my dad about or bring to my dad. And it's like, no, I want you to tell me everything. I want to be a part of that. And so that's what God wants for us as well.
Yeah.
Relationship.
Thanks, Troy.
Yep.
Ben, it's been fun.
It has been fun. I appreciate you guys letting me in on this deal.
Good to see the inside of
good.
The sausage being made.
Yeah, this is a beautiful studio.
Yeah,
it's like 1,000 square feet, like all this marble.
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you get the sound so crisp? It's like nothing is even absorbing this.
Well, it's our
staff. Is this marble from Italy, Chet?
Yes, it is. That's why I go there for work. I want to go on vacation, at some point, but it's all about.
It's a me, Chet.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.